Tonight I'm going to look at Sailing by Christopher Cross. This is the first time I'm looking at it, so I'm just going to go through the chords and I'm going to do one playthrough, but I'm only going to try and strum it. He has a distinct picking pattern he does for it. It'll take me a little time to try and learn that. I definitely want to learn that, so I plan to take a second look at this at some point in the near future. So if you're interested in learning it, hopefully this will get you started, and then maybe you can check back to see when I get to make the follow-up video. So first I'll go through the chords that show up in the song. The first chord that shows up is called, just want to make sure the full fretboard's visible, yeah. The first one is called E/A, and if you're new to guitar, the /A means they change the root of the chord. So instead of a standard E chord, it's an E where it has been altered to have an A root. And the way this particular sheet music that I found, and by the way, I found it on musicnotes.com if you want to try and learn it. I will say I've seen alternate versions. Specifically, I saw a recent interview with Christopher Cross on a very good YouTube channel that I recommend to anyone interested in guitar, by a gentleman named Rick Beato. Rick, R-I-C-K, Beato, B-E-A-T-O. He did an interview with Christopher Cross, and he plays it on there. And you can see he plays it differently than the sheet music shows it. But this works if you just want to strum it for the chords, and then you'll have to do a different version if you want to do the picking pattern he does, which hopefully in the future I can look into it further, and hopefully this will get you started. But the first chord for this version, E/A, we're going to take our index finger on the first fret and press down on the third string from the bottom. And on the second fret, we're going to press down on the string right above that, third string from the top. And we're going to play every string except the top string. The second to the top string is the A string, so that gives us the /A part of the E/A. The next chord they show him playing is the standard A, and it's on the second fret. And you can just use your pinky, ring finger, and second finger in that order to press down on the second, third, and fourth strings from the bottom. It's just a standard A chord. And again, play the open A string. And then back to the E/A. I apologize for the background noise. It sounds like we're getting some heavy rain outside. The next chord that shows up is D add 9. When you see add 9, they're referring to the ninth note in a scale. Standard scale goes 1 to 8. So if it was the D scale, 1 would be D, and then 8 would be the D that you arrive at when you go through 1, 2, 3, all the way up to 8. So 9 is the note right after D, which is E. So D add 9. And the way they're showing playing that is, I'll do it in the reverse order. They're showing on the third fret, pressing down on the second string from the bottom, and I want to use my ring finger for that. And they're showing on the second fret, pressing down on the string right above that, the third string from the bottom. And it's D add 9, and I'm going to leave out the top two strings because I'm going to include this open D string, but I'm not going to include the two above that. Okay. The next chord that shows up is F sharp minor 9. And the sharp on a guitar means you take the chord itself and move it up 1 fret. And again, we just talked about what 9 stands for. So F sharp minor 9, the way they're showing playing this is on the first fret, third string from the bottom, press down. I'm going to use my index finger. And then on the second fret, press down the second string from the bottom. I'm going to use my ring finger for that. And also on the second fret, third string from the top, I'm going to use my second finger for that. And then we play every string except the top one. Okay. Let me see what's next. Then they show E/D. This one's easy. All you have to do is on the very first fret, press down on that same string we pressed down before. And then play every string except the top two. And the /D, the E/D comes from the fact that we're including this open D string. They then show A/D, so I won't repeat myself about what the /D means, but they then show A/D, and they're showing that as being on the second fret. And an easy way to think about it is, remember a moment ago when we played A and we pressed down on the second, third, and fourth strings from the bottom on the second fret? To get A/D, all we do is pick up our index finger on the D string, and then that gives us the /D part of the A/D. So that's a good way to remember that one. Let's see. They're repeating chords we've already covered, so I'm just looking to see if there are any new chords that show up. Let me look on the next page. Okay, a couple pages down, they do show B-7. Now they show it being played differently. Usually you would play B-7 like this, and I may still do that because I tried it both ways and it sounds very similar, and this is easy for me to remember. So the way they're showing it played is on the second fret. I'll do it in reverse order. Press down on the bottom string with your ring finger. Press down on the third string from the bottom with your second finger, and then press down on the second string from the top with your index finger, and then use your pinky on the third fret to press down on the second string from the bottom and play everything except the top string. Now, an alternate way to play that is to play it like you would normally play a B7, but lift up the ring finger, and if you notice, you get almost the same strings being pressed down. There's just one extra I have. It sounds a hint higher tone because of that, but if you can't do the first version, this is an easy substitute until you get comfortable with it. Another chord that they show that I might do slightly different is they're showing C#-7. The way they're showing it is they're showing it, I'll do it in reverse order. They're showing it on the fourth fret, pressing down on the bottom and third from the bottom strings, and then on the second fret, pressing down on the next to bottom and the third from the top string. But you may notice it's hard to do that reach. So I'm going to instead cheat on that one, and I'm going to do a standard C#-7, which looks like this. So a C-7 would be on the third fret, and I would press down on the third fret except for the top string. And then I would press down on the next to the bottom string with my second finger, and I would press down on the, and that was on the fourth fret, sorry. And then on the fifth fret, I would press down on the third string from the top. That would be a C-7. You may notice the difference is if I also included my pinky on the third fret right below my ring finger, that's the C minor. But by picking up my pinky, it turns it into the C-7. And all I have to do to turn that into C#-7 is move it up one fret. Again, I'm going to do that because the C#-7 they show is a lot harder to reach for me. Maybe in the future I can try that again. Plus, like I mentioned, in the recording, he's not strumming, he's actually picking this. So eventually I want to switch to pick it anyway. Just trying to see if there's any other chords that I haven't touched on that show up in the song. No, I think that's it. I'll try and go through it one time. Let's see. Sorry, my mouth is dry. Before I start, I will give a little hint about how you can pick the initial pattern in the song. It's not exactly the way he does it, but based on these chords, if we go back to that very first chord that showed up, the E/A, if you get the sheet music and look at it, at first you see the, on the bass clef, you see the A and the B are the first two notes that show up, which this is the open A string, and this is the open B string based on the E/A we have down. So you first can pluck those. The next note that shows up is the G sharp, which is the one that I have my index finger pressing down on. So it's like, so the first time I used my thumb and my second finger, and on the second one I used my index finger. And then the next note that shows up is the E, which I have my second finger pressed down on, and then that one I can use my thumb again, so I'll do all of them together. And it repeats itself twice. And then he switches to the standard A and continues. And then he goes back. If you listen to the intro of the recorded song, it sounds almost like that. Maybe it's a little different. So that's, if you're interested in trying to get started picking it, that's a little clue of how that very initial intro can be picked rather than strummed. So I'll now try doing a quick playthrough for the first time. Oh, and it says it's in 2, which means it kind of, even though it's a standard count, it kind of just keeps like the 2 main beats. So. Well, it's not far back to paradise, at least it's not for me. If the moon is right, you can sail away and find tranquility. Oh, the canvas can do miracles, just you wait and see. It's not hard to never land, no reason to pretend. If the wind is right, you can find the joy of innocence again. Oh, the canvas can do miracles, just you wait and see. Takes me away to where I always thought it could be. It's the dream of when to carry me. Soon I'll be. And I see that it's the best of me when I'm sailing. All caught up in everything. Every word is a symphony. Won't you leave me? Just a dream around to dream. Soon I'll be free. Go back to sanity. At least it's not for me. Wind is right, we can sail away and find serenity. Oh, the canvas can do miracles. Just you wait and see. And I say, takes me away to where I always thought it could be. Just a dream of mine to find me. Soon I'll be free. I hope you enjoyed this song. I hope this is helpful to you if you're just starting out with guitar. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next one.